Hey, what's up everybody? This is Walter on the V-Tween Racing channel. I'm gonna show you guys today how much of a pain in the butt it is to take apart a softail and pull the transmission from it. Come on. First thing we do is remove the seat and remove the battery. Then we drain all of the fluid out of the primary. Then we remove the custom plate that we made for the air shifter. And luckily it just spins right around to the front like so. Keeps everything nice and neat and together, but out of the way at the same time. Then we remove our bolt from our shift linkage. It ties in with our lever from the actual transmission. Same thing. That goes up, stays nice out of the way, but all together so it's easier to put back together. And always remember, as you're taking all of your bolts out from around your primary, always leave one in there to hold it so it doesn't just fall off. And also on old Evo style primaries, make sure you also remove those two long bolts because they tie into the inner, and you see all the time where people have scar marks all the way around the surface between the inner and outer primaries where they don't take them off first. Now as you remove your last bolt, then you can take your primary off. Forgive me, I'm going to try to do this one-handed. I need about 3 more hands and 2 more people, but hey, outer primary is now off the box. Semi-pro tip, your bolts for your primary are all different lengths. These are all longer, these are all shorter. So what I always do is as I take them out, I lay them out in order from how I've taken them out going around the primary. And then once I get the primary laid over on the bench or wherever I'm putting it, then I'll go back in the same order and I'll put all the bolts back in their holes just for safekeeping. I know where they go. Same thing when I go to put it back together. I will also lay them all out in order from where I'm going to start to where I'm going to end. And you remove your nut from your tensioner so you can get all that out. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait and show you guys that later on, because once you have this where it will come off and it will come out, you remove all of this together. But I have Steve has the sockets that I need to get all of that stuff out, so this will all be removed tomorrow when he's here. And you finish removing your nut for your starter spline. Pull that bolt out, pull your spline out, and your spring. This whole part will come out also, but it will have to come out after we get the clutch basket out. There's also another piece that goes in behind in this little gap back here that goes from the actual starter to this to connect everything together. I'll try to get that on a later video also once we get the inner primary out of the way and show you that as well. All right, guys, that's about as far as I can go on this side with the primary. Like I said, until tomorrow, once I get the tools that I need to be able to get those nuts off and pull all that stuff apart as well. So we're just going to move on to the next phase, which is on the other side of the bike. I do not possess enough hands to be able to film and remove that exhaust at the same time. So the exhaust has been removed and it is over there on the bench. Thunder headers are a little tight to try to get off of there. Takes a lot of wiggling and jiggling and making it work. So the exhaust is off. Draining the transmission on the old Evo style. There's a little drain plug right under there. I always put a piece of cardboard or something in there just so it doesn't drain all over the frame because, you know, design flaws. But it's just a little 3/16 Allen little plug that goes in there. Drain it. And while your transmission is draining, you can go ahead and grab your down tube that runs from the oil tank. Remove your hose clamp, and then we're going to pull the little tip out. I'm going to try to do it where you guys can watch it. Pull that out. Bada boom. Now we are draining. And we'll have to sit here and hold it for a few minutes because, you know, the hose isn't long enough. If I let it go, it'll go all up in there and get all over everything. So we'll be back. All right, guys, we got all the fluid drained, oil out of the oil tank, oil out of the transmission. So next, to remove this oil tank, I have to take these 2 lines off that go to the oil pump. Usually I just tie them up here. This one, I'm not sure if the older Harleys were like this, but this is actually a custom softail frame. So it has these doodads here on each side. The last time I removed this oil tank, I don't really know if I learned a good way to do that yet. So I'm gonna try a different way this time. Last time I just took these bolts out, it was really a pain. So I think this time I'm gonna take these bolts out and see if that'll let me slide it out a little bit easier and not have to work around those brackets. Also, you have to take the bolts from in here out as well so that you can drop it out, and then it takes a lot of maneuvering as well because the starter is still in there as well. So you can very carefully reach the bolts for the starter there, and there's another one up there that you can get to with a wobble socket. If you take the starter loose, a lot of times that will help give you a little more wiggle to be able to get this oil tank out. So see you guys once I get it out. And now the oil tank's out. Actually went a lot better when I took those brackets that were holding it right here. Took those off, and it actually slid out fairly easy, a lot easier than it did the last time I had to do that. Last time I fought with it for 30 minutes or so to get it out. This time it took maybe about 10. So, hey, yay learning. Next step, we will remove the bolt here and the bolt here for the starter, and we will go ahead and get the starter pulled out of there, and then we will be down to the transmission. I am going to go ahead and pull this cover off tonight as well, and then I'm pretty much going to stop there until Steve gets here tomorrow. I have never personally been in a Harley transmission, so I don't really know what I'm looking at, and I got some learning to do on that one, but luckily he's pretty well versed in them, so I got me a good teacher. So we'll get the starter out and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so we got the bolts for the starter out. Starter comes out. And then the other piece that I was talking about on the other side actually comes out right here. And that's your sleeve that goes from your actual starter to the one on the other side. We actually forgot to put that in the last time we put the starter in, and we were able to manage to go in with some needle nose pliers with it from this way, and somehow got it lined up and got it in there. Still not sure how we pulled that off, but we did. Then you can come around this side, and this piece actually will still not come out until the clutch basket is out. So we'll just leave that hanging out and let it cool out right there and hang out for a little while.